All right, got the recording going. Okay, the November meeting of the Hampton Road Ship Model Society has now begun. We have no guests present. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Nope. This could be another pretty short meeting. Treasurer's report.
Okay, we started the month of October out with $2,808.53. No receipts during the month. And we had a $100 disbursement to the Mariners Museum in memory of Bill Clark, leaving us a balance of $2,708.53.
Okay. And y'all done?
Yes.
You didn't mention any disbursement for the website? Is that
That's
next month?
yeah, that'll be in the, that was just made
Yep. Okay.
in October. Was $98.80.
Okay. So I'll move to that. I discussed some so the website is kind of like I've made the analogy of a component stereo. The basic website is the amplifier, and it doesn't do a whole lot on its own, but then you can add outside devices like a turntable or a tape deck or a DVR or whatever. So these plug-in devices like the DVR, the tape deck are usually free. And there's thousands of them available. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for. I try and make sure that I only use the ones that are free to keep the cost down. But the people who are giving them away for free are usually hoping that to get donations for their effort. Sometimes they don't look for donations, they just have a premium version. You can get the upgraded version and pay for that, or you can use the cheap one for free. And that's for the most part what we've been doing. But I think that people who are doing all this work deserve something. So I went through and found the ones where it was even possible to give them a donation, and we just threw them a small bone. And I talked to the other officers about this before doing it. So we have 30 different of these different plugins for the website. Only about 12 of them had some sort of means to take a donation, and we gave them between $4 and $25, depending on how useful they were to the website. And the grand total was $98, and that's a one-time thing. So it's just a recognition of their effort. Because if I'm a programmer, and if I was doing the same thing, I would hope that people, threw me a bone. Quite often they portray it as, like, hey, can you buy me a cup of coffee? Because that's about what it comes out to. And other than that, that's about all I've done with the website. Now, I did receive a number of images from people. I've yet to get those up. I went out to George and Shirley Livingston's house about a week or two ago and took pictures of his models, because the ones he sent me were pretty poor quality. He had a lot more models than I thought. I thought there was going to be like 6. There was more like 16. So I'll get those posted once I can get to it. So keep sending your pictures. I will get them up sooner than later, I promise. Also, people have mentioned in past meetings places they've found online with good how-to videos and books and things like that. If you don't mind forwarding me that information, I'll add it as well. So that's it for the webmaster's report. Old business, like I said, thought I recorded the last meeting, but I can't find any record of it, so I couldn't go back and review it for notes. For old business, I really can't recall anything. Anyone out there have a better memory than me? No old business you want to bring up?
Okay. Was it in the minutes?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't read the newsletter yet. I'm sorry. Did you have something in there, Tom? I can pull it up real fast.
Oh,
We can move on to, oh, shoot. On here.
But is next month's auction considered old business now?
I think let's do that under new business because I don't think we really brought it up other than internally via email.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Let's just move on to that, and I'll pull up the newsletter while you're talking and see if there was anything we needed to go over for old business. If you've got a couple different items to go over, John, you can go ahead.
Well, I'll go ahead and start with the auction one, I guess. Those of you who got the newsletter and realized that we're going to auction off the tools that Shirley Livingston donated to the club. They were George's tools. I don't mean tools. Is a workbench and toolbox. And we'll do it in this format, but it's going to be a little interesting because we haven't done it in this format before. Went out and tried to find a product description of each thing, an approximate, what I think approximate value should be. We have set a reserve based on that. And then there's a suggestion opening bid. And probably the most important thing to some of you people is the size and the weight of the daggone things, so that you can see whether or not you can even use them or transport them. So next month, I guess after the show program, if we have a program, we'll be auctioning these three items off. So if there's any discussion or questions or things that are a little fuzzy, good time to speak up.
John, just a question. In terms of moving those, do they come apart for being able to be moved, or does somebody have to be able to lift 200 pounds to move that workbench?
Well, no, the workbench has been disassembled. And so probably, of course, the heaviest piece would be the top. And that might be half of the weight. So, but it is disassembled. It's out in the garage right now. The cart piece of it, the wheels are not on it at the moment. They weren't on when we picked them up. And of course, the toolbox itself is handles on either end. You can pick that up. I would say, Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you would need something, I guess, if you were wanting to bid on the bench, you'll need some means of getting it home, because it's what did we say it was? It's 5.5 feet long, something like that. So
I have a truck. I could help depending where you live. Just, I don't know, maybe some number of beers per mile.
right, and also, like I said, if anybody wants to come by and see them, just give me a shout, and you can take a look at the parts. Okay. Any other questions? I'll move on to the second thing that I had. I got a call from I got a note from Cindy Ford right after Bill passed away. And Cindy Ford is Tommy Trangle's daughter. I always knew her as Cynthia. And unfortunately, I still call her Cynthia. But she wanted to know if there was something that the Trangle family could do in Bill's name for the club. And so we had a nice discussion. And I was telling her about the Bill liked to come to the taco stand and some of the other things that Bill liked to do. And then I got this letter about a week or so ago from them. And I'd like to read it to you all. It says, "Dear members of the Hampton Road Ship Model Society, our family was so saddened by the death of Bill Clark. We had adopted him into our family, and we all shared a great love and admiration for the person he was and all he achieved. We found him to be so interesting and often spoke with him about his activities and involvement with his ship model buddies. We are aware of how much he enjoyed the Sunday afternoons twice a month at the, quoted, taco stand at the Mariners Museum. Enclosed, you will find our donation given in memory of Bill from members of our family to be used for any items or tools that would enhance this worthwhile program at the museum. Bill dearly loved and participated even when it was not his best of days, and we can attest to that. But anyway, I should back up just a step. Cindy or Cynthia Ford Tragle was Tommy Tragle's daughter. And Tommy Tragle, for those of you who don't know, was probably the founder of this club back in '67, was our first year. And then, of course, Tommy and Betty Lou stayed involved all throughout, I guess, until Tommy passed. And then Bill and Betty Lou became Bill's companion there towards the end. And so there was an involvement throughout, I guess, their association with this club the entire time. So they felt strongly about doing that. And so then what they did was they donated, and this is where it'll knock your socks off probably. We received a check in the amount of $700 to do something in Bill's name, and they sort of directed it for the taco stand. So I guess we're going to have an interesting discussion on how we want to deal with this. And of course, with your permission, Skipper, I will write a thank you letter back to them. And it was signed by Tom and Liz. Tom Jr. was, of course, Tommy and Betty Lou's son. Cindy and Glenn Ford, and then 4 of their children and spouses. So it was quite a nice donation, a nice thing for them to do, and totally unexpected. Like I say, it was it knocked my socks off. So, and that's the end of that report.
All right, thanks, John. Okay, any other new business?
Yes, I've got something to bring up. The renewal for the NRG, we're a chapter club of the NRG, and that's coming up. It has to be done by the end of the year. I've gotten a notice from them that, if we wanted to continue on, it's $30 a year. If we want to get the insurance, which is, I believe, a $1 million liability policy, it's an additional $100 a year. I don't really think we need the liability insurance. I think Ron Lewis had mentioned that the museum, we were pretty much covered there if we were to do anything. And of course, with COVID, nothing really is open. But I would like to see that, we continue our relationship with the NRG as a chapter club. The Ship Model Society in New Jersey last month voted, to be a chapter club also. So, all what I would call leading ship model clubs are basically members of the NRG. So I'd like to put that forward to see if the club wants to renew their affiliation with the NRG as the chapter club.
Do you know if the insurance could be added later if we wanted?
We can always add it later. If we did add it, the premium would still be $100 a month. I'm not a month, but a year. But the year runs from, I think, January 1 through January 1.
Right.
Or December 31st. So, if we were to add it, say May, it would continue on until December 31st. I've always, that is a nice protection, because if something were to happen, we could go against that insurance as opposed to, going against the museum's insurance.
Just thinking if the COVID thing lifted and we did do some sort of activity outside of the museum where we don't have coverage. I don't know if there's any lawyers in our group, that could comment on whether we really ought to worry about it or not. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if there's anything to worry about. If we were in a library or a museum, another different museum or whatever, maybe they also have insurance that we would fall under. So I would suggest that we wait until we have some sort of activity outside of the club and then get some advice on whether it's actually worth our trouble to get it.
The
So
insurance.
for now, I'd make a motion that we just, or ask for a motion that we renew at the basic level for the $30 remain
Moved.
our affiliation.
So moved.
Thank you, David. Second from anyone?
Yes, second.
All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand and leave them there long enough for me to count. All right, that's a majority. All right, so we will do that.
Okay, yeah, I got one question. I know that Tom Saunders, Tom Ruggiero, Dave, myself are members of the NRG. Do we have anybody else here that are NRG members?
Yes, Rylan, this is Bill Brown. I'm a member.
Bill, good. That gives us the 5 we need. Anybody else?
Oh, yeah, no, I am also. I spaced out there for a moment.
Okay.
Can I make a recommendation for people who aren't that they consider joining? It's a great organization. It's the only national organization that does what we do, and it's the magazine that comes with it is really good. And the national meeting is really good too when we finally get to start having them again.
I'd like to mention I'm a director, currently a director, and of NRG. And there are things, other member benefits that we're working on. I'm not at liberty to give details just yet, but I can tell you that some of the things we're looking at, with the COVID environment and even without the COVID environment, is we're looking at doing more online type things. There's some discussion about doing it live versus having it available, having it filmed and then made available that way. But that's some of the benefits we're looking to also put out for members. So other things coming too. You get discounts on the various products that the Nautical Research Guild puts out, like Washington plans and yeah. There you go, Galley Washington plans and that kind of.
This is always the Sharpie, which is another set of.
Okay, it is also the Sharpie. I'm sorry. So anyway, I think it's a great organization, and for the cost per year, it's kind of cheap. So Nautical Research Journal right now is the only English language publication that caters to ship modeling. And so end of commercial.
Also, the Hampton Roads Club has a section, I believe, in the on the NRG website. The charter clubs are listed.
Yeah, now that's something else good that you brought that in, Rylan. Another benefit to being a charter club is that there will be if you go on to the Nautical Research Guild website, other than not Model Ship World, Nautical Research Guild website, and you look for resources for clubs, in addition to having a bigger logo if you're a chapter club, we're also working on having a web page that it'll kick you to that could give a little bit more history on your club. This is not intended to replace your own web page. This is just a supplement to give a lot more information about your club. If someone's searching for local clubs through Nautical Research Guild, it's a bigger hook, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Question about that here. When we first talked about joining as a charter, as a charter club. I seem to recall there was some that after you become a charter club, your members of your club could join an NRG and it was a discount or something. Was that true? Was I just making that up?
I don't know that, but that's a good question. I currently, I think the answer is no, but that's a good point for me to raise. I will raise that to the directors, to the other directors. Thank you.
Any other new business?
Yeah, hey, Greg, it's Bill. Just a quickie on, we had on the New Jersey side, I thought a good meeting last time with the speaker, Susan McClure, and we had 7 members of this club join that, which I thought was fantastic. It was great to see the folks on. I just wanted to mention coming up on the later this month, we have another speaker scheduled, this time Dan Lieb. He's president of the historic New Jersey Shipwright Divers Association and also founder of the New Jersey Shipwreck Museum. And he'll be speaking at our November meeting, and you folks are all invited again. So just let me know. I've heard him talk in the past. He's an excellent speaker and very knowledgeable. They're investigating, I think, a 19th century wreck right now where they found an anchor that has a different design than they've seen. So they're looking for input from sort of the historians of our clubs to see if they can get any input as to what the purpose of this type of anchor was. So it's interesting.
A question.
Yes, Hank.
Was that presentation recorded? I wasn't able to attend. I had a conflict, and if it's recorded, it could be.
The one on the Spitfire? Yes, it was. We're trying to, I think Tom just reached out to Susan to get her authorization to distribute it. As soon as we get that, I think we can make it available. Right, Tom?
I don't know that, well, it was recorded on our recording, so we could make that available if Susan approves. So that can be done via Dropbox or whatever. There is a link to the presentation, the slides, not the audio part, but the slides. I reached out to Susan yesterday, asking her if she was okay with me publishing that link. So as soon as I find that out, we'll
let you guys know.
Yeah, it'll be in the Broadax, and the Broadax is, and we'll distribute the Broadax, which is the New Jersey newsletter. So.
Yeah, I arrived late for that, but the portion I saw was really good, and I appreciate the invite. Look forward to the next one. Okay, any other new business? All right, I'll circle back to old business just for a moment, only to say that I did peruse the minutes and didn't see anything that needed to be brought up. All right, we're on to show and tell then. I'm gonna stop and restart the recording so we have different segments.